Hello Wolflings, this is Les from Shimmer Wolf Arts, and today I'm going to be doing a quick tutorial on layers. Not the layers onions have layers, ogres have layers thing. I'm talking layers as in layers on a program such as Paint Tool, Photoshop, and the like. So I'm using 2, but it mainly has no difference between 1. So layers are pretty much different sections of a canvas, a digital canvas. So this is the first layer. So what I'm going to do, boop, I'm going to make a background, just like that. Let's make it peach. Why not peach? Orange. There we go. So that is layer 1. Layers, typically you can do a whole bunch of different layers. I use quite a few layers, but for this tutorial it's going to be pretty quick and pretty simple. So you can, in fact, rename layers, usually by double-clicking on the layer that you want to rename. So BG for background. And let's make a new layer. So you can see my mouse moving it around with my little pen. So this little button right here, that's how you make a new layer. So we have a new layer right here. So whichever way it moves, whichever position it's in, it's going to be on top of whatever layers are below it, and it's going to be underneath any layers that are on top of it. So these are going to be lines. I'm just going to title it lines. So let's do black, and let's make the pen size a little bigger since this is a pretty decent sized canvas. So let's just draw a circle, and let's just make a smiley face. Why not? Just a simple smiley face. There, simple smiley face. As you can see, it's on top of the orange layer background right here, but if you watch, if I move it underneath the background layer like so, it disappears. It doesn't mean that it's gone, it is simply beneath the background layer. So, what do we want to do if we want to color in the smiley face? We could simply do something like this and use the bucket tool to do that. However, if we zoom in, you can see it's not as high quality as we would like. So instead of doing that, we're going to make another new layer. Boop. And we're going to call this one color, because it's going to be the color of our smiley face. But what happens when we try to color in the smiley face? Uh-oh, what's happening to the lines? The lines are over the top. The lines are being hidden. Simple fix. You can click and drag layers to move them around. See how the lines show up now and the color is underneath the lines? That's the simplest way to do it. You could set the color layer to multiply, but that would also mess it up with the background behind it. So it's easier to simply move the layers around and have them in the way that you want, so that you don't so you don't color something that you don't want to, or you don't want it to look a certain way. Let's make this bigger. There we go. So, next thing I'm going to talk about is clipping and locking layers. So, when you lock a layer, the lock settings are right here. So if I hit lock, that means whatever I color will not change what I've already colored. It'll only change the color that, say I want to make the smiley face purple. Oh gosh. Let's say I want to change it to a pink or a purple. If you lock the layer, you can't draw anything new. See, I'm coloring outside the lines. However, where I colored first stays like that. So I'm only coloring over what I've already drawn, so I can't draw anything new on it. If I unlock the layer, I can draw something new, but I don't want to do that. Now, we want to do a clipping group. A clipping group is a new layer, however, it will only color where the previous layer is. So this is good for shading and stuff like that. So as you can see here, the color stays where the previous layer is. You can do the same thing with a layer lock. So let's make that layer invisible. I can do the same thing with a layer lock. However, it's actually a little bit more difficult to shade when you're doing it on a layer lock, simply because if you want to erase what you shaded, you instead have to color over with the original color instead of just like erasing the shading. Because if I erase the shading here, it erases just fine. But let's say I want to erase it here. Oops, I went a little too far. It erases pretty much everything. See, it erases everything, including the color I don't want to erase. So it's just easier to do a clipping mask when it comes to shading and stuff like that. So next we're going to talk about folders. Folders are pretty much easy ways to organize your layers. See, I put the smiley face in one folder. So if I want to turn the smiley face off, the whole entire smiley face vanishes. Not just like the lines or anything like that. Want to turn off just the background vanishes. And if I don't like the way the smiley face looks, I can simply delete it. But I'm not doing that because the smiley face is kind of cute. So those are the basics when it comes to layers. Different programs will have different functions. Especially Paint Tool Sai has, this line work tool where you actually have line tools where you can make different lines. But this one, I'm only talking about the basic functions of layers for like multiple different art programs. And also, there are clear layer functions where it'll just delete everything that's on that particular layer without deleting the layer itself. And there's also the merged function, so that'll merge the two layers together, or the transfer down tool, and that pretty much it says right there on the screen, transfer the painting of the current layer onto the next layer. So it'll combine it. That's good for when you're doing line art and you're especially picky about stuff and you don't want to accidentally erase something you've already perfected. That's good for when you want to make more line art, but you don't want to have to accidentally erase something you've perfected already. And once you get that portion of the lines perfected, you can simply do that transfer function and then keep going. It's one of the things that I really like doing when I make line art. So yeah, that's one thing I love doing with that particular function. But yeah, that's pretty much the basics. So if you liked it, leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.